everybody. So we have the first matchup of the second round of the playoffs locked in. It comes from the East Division where the Boston Bruins will be taking on the New York Islanders for a chance to go to the Final Four in the NHL this year. This is going to be a lot of fun. I expect it to be a very hard-fought and close series, but that means it is time for a full series preview. We don't know the exact day that this series is going to be starting. There's a lot of talk about it starting on Saturday. However, I don't think anything has been officially released yet on the start date, at least as far as up until now when I'm recording this. But it should be starting up here pretty quickly, and we're going to get Bruins versus Islanders. Let's take a look at the matchup here between these two teams. On the Boston Bruins side, obviously they went 33-16-7 during the regular season, 73 points, finished third in the East. They went 3-3-2 against the New York Islanders this season in the regular season during their matchups. They struggled mightily with the Islanders early in the year. However, the last few matchups against New York, Boston was able to win. Actually, Boston was able to win the last 3 matchups that they had against New York, all coming post-trade deadline. So that's when things kind of changed for the Bruins, and they've been good recently. They're coming off a 5-game series win over the Washington Capitals, which I was very surprised that series only went 5 games. I thought that was going to be a long one, but the Capitals just didn't have it. And the Bruins played very, very well, particularly getting better as the series went on. And that's a good sign for Boston as well heading into this one. And they looked good against Washington. In the regular season, the Bruins finished with 2.93 goals for per game, which is good for 14th in the NHL. Middle-of-the-road offense here for Boston. They didn't put up huge goal-scoring numbers against the Capitals in round number 1 either. However, they didn't have to because they kept the games close, kept most of the games fairly low scoring, a 3-2, 4-3 type of game. You know, not the kind of game where they needed to score 5 or 6 goals or anything. If they could score 3, they were probably in good shape. And the offense came through in round number 1. Very good defensive team in the regular season. That carried over into the playoffs. 2.39 goals against per game in the regular season. That was 4th in the league. They did not give the Capitals much offensively. In the first round, they were very tight defensively. Tuukka Rask played very well in goal. A little bit shaky maybe in game number 1, but he, like the team, got better as the series went along, and he was at the top of his game for, really the 3rd, 4th, and 5th game of that series. Power play for the Bruins in the regular season, 10th in the NHL with 21.9%. It's not a spectacular power play, but it can be effective at times when they get it going. It's kind of a streaky power play for the Bruins. I think that might play a big role in this series coming up. And a very good penalty killing team in Boston, 86% on the PK, which is 2nd in the NHL in the regular season. Switching sides now over to the Islanders. They went 32-17-7 in the regular season, 71 points on the year, which was 4th in the East Division. Now, they did play well against the Bruins in the regular season, particularly the first half of the season. They went 5-2-1 against Boston in the regular season. However, since after the trade deadline, when Boston got Hall, got Lazar, got Riley, Islanders weren't playing that well at the end of the season. They did lose the last 3 to the Bruins. So that's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic is in this playoff matchup. Now, the Islanders are coming off a very impressive 4-2, 6-game series win over the Pittsburgh Penguins, knocking out the top seed in the East. And I said that the Islanders had a chance. I said I never liked doubting a Barry Trotz coach team in the playoffs. However, I did pick the Penguins to win that series, and I am a little surprised that Pittsburgh was, played, especially defensively, as poorly as they did. But the Islanders played really well, and they got the job done. They did what they needed to do. They were physical. They were able to score goals, which is big for this team because they're not a great offensive team, but they were able to put up goals against the Penguins. Obviously, they're good defensively. Sorokin has been unbelievable in goal. That's going to be a huge thing to watch in this series, is the goaltending matchup. And the Islanders really, really impressed me in round number 1. So this is definitely going to be a real dogfight here in the second round between these two teams because they both played very well in their first playoff matchups. So in the regular season, the Islanders only scored 2.71 goals for per game, which is 21st in the NHL. They weren't great offensively during the regular season, but they scored against the Pittsburgh Penguins. There's been no shortage of offense from the Islanders in the playoffs so far this season. They looked really good, and the question I think is how much of that offense was the Islanders and how much of that offense was Tristan Jarry just being really, really bad in goal for Pittsburgh, because that definitely played a role. And I don't expect Tuukka Rask to be nearly as bad as Tristan Jarry was. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Can the Islanders keep up the level of offense that they had against Pittsburgh, who is a very middle-of-the-road defensive team and got horrendous goaltending in the first round? Are they going to be able to keep that up against a top 5 defensive team in the Bruins and a goaltender that is playing very, very well in Tuukka Rask? That's going to be something to watch. Goals against wise, well, 2.23 goals against per game for the Islanders, second best in the league in the regular season. We know they're a great defensive team. They did give up some goals to the Penguins, but the Penguins had a high-flying offense. That's not surprising. It's going to be interesting to see, can the Islanders' defense shut down the Bruins' offense that, again, played well against the Capitals, but wasn't exactly, lighting up 5 or 6 goals a game. Now they're going to be going up against a much better defensive team in New York. Can that stifle the Bruins' offense a little bit? That's going to be interesting to see, that kind of matchup there. Special teams, well, the power play is not very good for the Islanders. They were just 18.8% on the power play this year, which was 20th in the NHL. And their power play against the Penguins in the first round wasn't all that impressive. There were a lot of power play chances for them where it was just kind of like, do they even have the man advantage? But their 5-on-5 play obviously was really good. But power play is a bit of a weak point for the Isles. But their penalty kill is good, 83.7% on the PK, which was tied for 6th in the NHL. They are good when they do take penalties at killing them off. So overall, this is going to be a really interesting series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The Islanders did not play boring hockey in round number 1. Isles have this bad rap, all this talk about how they play boring hockey. That, if you watch any of that series against the Pittsburgh Penguins, that was the furthest thing from boring that we've seen in these playoffs. That Penguins-Islanders series was absolutely one of the 3 best series of the first round, without a doubt. Extremely exciting games to watch, not even close. So I think this is going to be a really fun and exciting series as well. Both of these teams are physical. Both of these teams, when they get hot, can score goals. Also, the offense can kind of fade at times. Both of these teams are very good defensively and getting great goaltending right now. This is going to be a fun one to watch to see which one can win out. The goaltending matchup, I think, is going to be huge. Tuukka Rask, 4-1 in the playoffs. Save percentage over 940, goals against under 2, playing really, really well right now. But Ilya Sorokin, 4-0 in the playoffs, won all 4 games that he played against Pittsburgh. The 2 that they lost, they mistakenly put Varlamov in, and he was terrible. So Sorokin has taken over in net now for New York. He's 4-0. He has a slightly higher save percentage than Tuukka Rask. I think Tuukka is at 941. Sorokin is at 943. Unbelievable numbers for both of these goaltenders. Also, Sorokin's goals against is under 2 as well. So this is going to be a big-time goaltending battle. It's going to be a big-time physical battle, as these two teams are not afraid to play big boy hockey. It's going to be a tight checking defensive battle, and we're going to find out which offense is able to come through more than the other one. I am really excited for this series. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for it to kick off. As far as a prediction goes, this is tough, and it gets harder and harder as you get deeper into the playoffs and you get good team versus good team and more evenly matched teams against each other. But I'm going to go with the Bruins in 6 in this one. I do think that Boston gets the job done here. I think the Bruins have looked really, really good since the trade deadline. The way that they just walked all over the Washington Capitals, especially late in that series where the Capitals basically just mailed it in, that really, really impressed me. Islanders have had a really impressive postseason as well. I was not expecting them to handle Pittsburgh the way that they did, and I'm definitely impressed with what the Isles have done so far. Again, I think this is going to be a long, hard-fought series, but for the sake of a prediction, I'm going to go Boston in 6. We'll see what happens, but that's going to do it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon merchandise store, donation link, and channel memberships are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.